regretting the fact that she might have messed things up with you or took you for granted. One common thing you might notice is that overdoing it is going to naturally happen because it's her trying to get a message across without actually saying it due to egotistic ways or prideful ways. Stringing somebody along, I don't find that it's fun or there's any point to it. You might see a like, random things that was just not expected, even watching your story, especially if they weren't before. She's seeing you and not avoiding you. She could give more. So if you notice that she's giving more than last time, don't just let her stop there. So when it comes down to her regretting losing you, there's so many signs that you're going to notice. Now, the obvious ones I've mentioned before, I'm going to focus on telling you the more not so obvious. It comes with games sometimes, and it's just ultimately going to be a waste of your time. Maybe it's been indirect, and it's actually her form of going ahead and showing you she actually regrets losing you so much. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to be subscribed with your post notification on. And so when it comes down to these signs and things that are going to be indirect, you're actually gone, your absence obviously is actually put into place. And so it's actually her feelings of like, how can I show in not the obvious way that I feel this way? So one easy way will be being so much more friendly to you. Before, it could have been not being able to stand you, not even giving you the time of the day or conversations. Now it's going to move on to she's actually getting very much used to you, and then the fact of her actually wanting to talk to you. It's not necessarily forcefully. There's other times when she's like, okay, well, I have him, or I don't regret losing him, so there is nothing that is going to fall down into actually feeling like, well, I have to do the most, or I actually, let's put it like this, have to attempt. So let's look more into how the friendliness will go. Normally you'll be starting up a conversation, so think about it like this. It depends on your situation. If you are long distance, it's going to most likely be a text message. Even if you are near each other, and if you don't live with each other, you're probably still going to get a text message. And if you actually do communicate face to face, sometimes it will be face to face literally, or through a phone call, or even FaceTime. Now once this happens, it's going to be more open to actually wanting to talk to you. Now unfortunately, some people actually have to go through her looking or acting like she's very annoyed or disgusted by you. And so the truth of it is that it's actually reversed around when she feels differently about you, compared to the cutting you off very quickly, compared to not wanting to actually keep talking to you, and then it's actual effort.
Ignoring, or if there's other stuff that you have going on, it could be about anything self-improvement, back to dating. Consultations are available for that. Book your consultation. Let's get on the line and talk about what's going on with you. Click that link after this video.
Sleep affirmations so you could become that powerful man, and it is recorded in my voice, and I give you the strongest affirmations to overall become that man and subconsciously become powerful. So let's get into these books. Get a track woman you want and get her to miss you, along with secrets to winning her over, and it tells you about cold approaching. It tells you my personal stories, and if you're trying to up your game in the dating game, these books are going to be perfect for that, and you could get it all in a bundle deal. Make sure you click the link down below.
One common thing you might notice is that overdoing it is going to naturally happen because it's her trying to get a message across without actually saying it due to egotistic ways or prideful ways. It might not be so easy for her to flat out say, hey, well, I feel this way, or I know it's wrong for this. And so you might just notice the attempt of actually trying to talk to you, communicate with you. And then the other side of it that is actually a downside for her is that if you don't make it so easy, she has to keep going on and on. But we know that sometimes it comes down to a female not knowing what she wants. And so it's important for you to not let your guard down easily, or not to just fall for the bait so easily, at least, because once it's said and done, it's going to be like, okay, well, it's expected. And when you have built up cycles, it's very hard to change that in somebody's mind, because she's going to think like, okay, well, I know how he is, like the routine that has been built up, the things that are going to be more expected to happen is going to be like this way. So you really just want to try it out. The way you guys are already getting tested, don't look at it as in like it's an exciting opportunity or even a lifetime opportunity where you have to go ahead and respond right away. The way you want to look at it is like, well, does it make sense to? If it does not make sense to, then don't actually keep going on with it, because it's going to be easily a waste of your time. Because once it's like back to the challenges out of the picture, you might fall into the orbiter list, or you might fall into the roster list. As many of you guys know, that is really common in the modern day. Now the other thing too is just challenging her to the extent of she could give more. So if you notice that she's giving more than last time, don't just let her stop there. You could start communicating back. Obviously no contact is still a big thing, but the way that you want to go about it is with less effort and less attempt. Communication is also going to be maybe sometimes what you don't want to do still, because if you notice that it's the same thing every single time, then you're better off stopping it now, where you're not actually giving anything out to her, no response, and seeing how far is she willing to go. There's a lot of females that you guys will be surprised about how far they're actually going to be willing to put the effort in, or even back to being extra friendly with you just for the facts of wanting to see if you're gonna fall for it, or even back to originally actually regretting the fact that she might have messed things up with you or took you for granted. If you guys ever experienced this type of thing before, or if you have anything that you want to comment about your particular situation, make sure you do drop it in the comment section. And if you still haven't given this video a big thumbs up, make sure you go ahead and do so. So let's kind of get into more of the wrapping up, and I'm going to add some of the clear signs that you're going to see. So clear signs has to do with, like, if you're still following each other on social media, you might see a like, random things that was just not expected, even watching your story, especially if they weren't before. These are things that I mentioned before, and in other videos I'll probably get more into it, but since I want to make it be back on the indirectness, you might see things such as communication is from a distance. So it could be sometimes outsources, people that you guys have as mutual friends. Sometimes it could be if you guys are going to the same environment. Things can be planned out from her end, and it's more about actually seeing you and not avoiding you. That's a different topic in itself, but you see how it could still fall into being overly friendly or just trying to prove a point of like, hey, we're cool, or we could get along, or let's start all over, stuff like that. When you notice these things happening, it's so important again to say that, like, hey, if she's gonna keep doing this, and if you don't want to keep dealing with it, you do have to do things differently. And then if you want to go along, play along with it, it's always about, don't send the wrong message across. Bringing somebody along, I don't find that it's fun or there's any point to it, but if you find that you want to do that, come to a game sometimes, and it's just ultimately gonna be a waste of your time. The story is that if you're only gonna get the friendliness at specific times, or when somebody is looking at you and saying, well, hey, I feel like I gotta do it now because I gotta win this person over, that's definitely not fair to you, because you're still gonna get the other side of them, or they only did it because they had no other choice to, basically, and that's not gonna really increase your value. If anything, it makes you have to look like, oh, you gotta settle for what you could get when things really go bad. And of course, you don't want it to be like that, because now you gotta wait every single time until things go bad in order for you to go ahead and get the other side of the friendliness, the other side of really being about you, all of that. And it has to be most of the time, or at least it has to be actually shown somewhat. I say that because if it's not there, if it's not genuine, then don't waste your time. Ultimately, the focus that you bring back to yourself and how much you care, put effort towards your growth, is going to show how much by how you react. So if you're unfazed, unbothered, if you have other things that you're worried about, if you have other options, you should be reacting pretty well to all of these things that you'll notice happening. So I hope this video was helpful. If you like videos like this, or if you have any other comments, part 2s that you want, other suggestions, make sure you let me know in the comment section. And if you still haven't given this video all the way up until now, make sure you go ahead and do so. Don't forget to be subscribed with your post notification on. Bye, y'all. Are self-improving in the process. This is so serious. This is why I have a whole no contact guide and journal available. Y'all could go ahead and purchase it. If you need somewhere to start off, then you need all the breakdowns, all the insight, the information, and I have structure in there, help you, prompts, things that will tell you you got this, but it'll give you also reasons why. And I have stories in there that tells you why no contact has worked for people, all types of stuff. It's so detailed, y'all. That's how much information I made sure to put in there. Step up no contact, or if you need somewhere to start and you need something to help you, this is like me guiding you as you go through no contact. That's how I customized it for y'all. So you can check that out by clicking the link down below. See what you could do with no contact, how far you could do it. Just learn everything, have the guidance, and accountability partner. Although I'm not actually there, you'll feel that sense from this journal and guide.